President Meta urges the internationals to not deepen the crisis in Albania, as according to him, there is no need to wait for the Constitutional Court's establishment to be resolved. The 4 members of the CEC have been on vacation, making it impossible to consider the request of Basha and his allies to register for the October 13th elections. Ariane Brache has continued his work on filtering out Albanian fuel. During an inspection in Porto Romano, he said manual pumps are illegal and will punish any offenders. It's 6 o'clock on Saturday, the 3rd of August, 2019. Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to rtvора's English edition. My name is Oliver, bringing you the only daily update of the local Albanian news, translated into English. Beginning his day up in Prevala, Kosovo, hiking in the mountains and enjoying the snowmelt streams, it seems that not even snow water therapy can divert President Ilir Meta's attention from the political crisis at home. Following yesterday's letter to the Assembly, where the head of state accused the Prime Minister, Edi Rama, of being the main author of Albania's state capture, he has now directed harsh criticism to the internationals for their perceived impartial stances. The last person to take a stance on the crisis was the United States Assistant Secretary of State, Matthew Palmer, who urged the political parties in the country to wait until the Constitutional Court can provide a solution to Albania's election crisis. President Meta had a question for all those who pretend to be impartial, stating, "After a bit of snow water therapy," in reference to his hike earlier in the morning, "I have a question I'd like to share with you. I address all those who pretend to be impartial, as they have excelled in their bias, overcoming even our own Prime Minister, who after all represents his own political side. Why don't you have the eyes to see or the ears to hear a solution to the crises that an existing institution has already offered? Instead, you ask from an institution that doesn't even exist, all thanks to your overdue impartiality." The president has repeatedly stressed that his target is October 18th, the day that the EU will make a decision on negotiations with Albania. Furthermore, the president has not stopped calling out Prime Minister Rama and DP leader Luzin Basha, emphasizing that it's thanks to their behavior that Albania's EU integration is currently in hot water. For the October 13th election decreed by President Ilir Meta has failed due to the unified majority stance against them. Biba, Skanderi, Yorgaci, and B3 have announced on Friday that they would not attend the meeting convened by the Central Election Commission Chair, Clement Zguri, so as to consider the requests by the Republican Party, Environmentalist Agrarian Party, and the Socialist Movement for Integration Party. Their absence is also a negative response to President Meta's appeal to run in the election. In such a difficult situation, the Central Election Commission chairman has even apologized for such an unusual situation. He stated, "I've called this meeting simply out of respect and based on my obligations as head of this institution so that the Central Election Commission could give an answer. I would like to and hope to have an answer formally through a decision. But our colleagues, according to the Secretary General, are on vacation, and so they're not available. Because of this, the meeting cannot take place. I apologize. The meeting cannot happen because the quorum is missing," said Zguri. Meanwhile, the Republican Party chair, Fatmir Mediu, through a post on Facebook, called the absence of the member in the Central Election Commission unconstitutional and urged the Assembly to initiate procedures for their dismissal. At the same time, legal representatives in the Socialist Movement for Integration Party at the Central Election Commission, Marhum Chakai, called the actions by the 4 members intentional and politically based. It is without a doubt this meeting is intentional and clearly politically motivated. Are the Central Election Commission members convinced that they have fulfilled their solemn obligation? The decree by the President of the Republic is in force, and we will respect all the provisions of the Electoral Code, said the SMI representative. The legal deadline for registering political parties at the CEC for the October 13th elections ends on Monday. But despite the first failure of the Central Election Commission's meeting, Luzin Basha and his allies are expected to submit their registration requests on August 4th. Immediately after taking on duty, the new mayor of Durrës started her first day of work with a focus on cleaning the city. Valbona Saku has ordered all subordinate institutions to go out to their respective fields and pick up the city. Speaking to rtvora, Saku said she has several priorities, stating, This should be a good start, but not just for me. We are also thinking of developing a study plan to ease the traffic in Durrës. But as the municipality engaged in cleaning up the city, the Democratic Party head in Durrës, Ferdinand Jafferi, issued a statement to the media. He said Durrës has never been dirtier than during this summer season. In the middle of the tourist season, we will again be spending another 67 million lek on the main boulevard of the city. There's already been a total of 120 million lek spent for this. Even the money from 2016 is still being spent. According to Jafferi, the promenade Tatulanya is heavily congested, while the same situation occurs on the city's other main boulevards. Yesterday's decision by the Tirana Administrative Court, which overthrew the Council of Ministers' decision to declare Tomori Mountain a national park, has caused widespread reactions in the Berat region. The residents of Berat protested this morning, while the Minister of Tourism and Environment, Blendi Closi, along with local government leaders, joined them. With banners in hand stating, "Don't touch my Tomori" and "No destruction of the mountain," residents have rejected the decision issued by the Administrative Court. Minister Closi believes that the fight to protect natural resources is difficult, but considers it a fair fight. Closi declared from Berat that he would overturn the decision made by the 5 judges in the Administrative Court, who voted 4 in favor and 1 against, thus overturning the decision of the Council of Ministers for Tomori Mountain. Closi said he would continue the request that a petition be signed to further appeal the administration's decision in the Supreme Court. Deputy Prime Minister Ariane Brache has warned from Porto Romano that there will be no tolerance of gas stations that do not implement the law. Ariane Brache said no intervention would be accepted while urging businesses to apply the law correctly. It is a constant battle against informalities. These illegal transactions unfortunately result in fiscal evasion. The fuel market is the largest market in the country, and we have to focus very strongly on this market in order to legalize every transaction through a tax voucher and tax bill, said Brache. The Directorate of Taxation stated that a special working group has been set up for these controls. The action in the fuel sector will take place throughout the country, and in August, about 200 entities operating in the sector are expected to undergo a governmental investigation. Hot weather and clear skies are causing tourists to flock to the Albanian coast in droves. And in Radhima Beach, the most frequent vacationers in the area seem to be Albanian immigrants. During the peak of the season, which occurs in the month of August, Albanians from the diaspora are arriving along the Vlora coast, choosing to spend their summer holidays in the south of Albania. I come from London. I've been in love with this place for 20 years now. Where we live, it's cold. When I first came here, I even thought about buying a house here, said one vacationer. The pristine water of the Ionian Sea is the main factor that attracts tourists. Some even say that they've been visiting the area for years. We have been here for a few years and we're very pleased. The water is very good. What God has given us is wonderful, said another vacationer. In August, the number of vacationers is expected to increase, bringing about an influx of tourists not only on the weekends, but all throughout the week. And finally tonight, Albanian livestock will be supported in the same way as Albanian agriculture for meat production. During a visit to several cattle ranches in the village of Linos in the Shergjurj administrative unit in Tirana, Agriculture Minister Blendi Cuci said that next year there will be a special government package for livestock support. If we can continue with the milk subsidy so as to help you survive, the potential to do the same thing for meat production is a very good opportunity that creates value. The livestock sector should be just as developed as the agriculture sector. We've done well with agriculture, in part thanks to our strategy and vision by subsidizing greenhouses. We will do the same thing with livestock, but focusing more on expanding herds, said Cuci. Alpine pastures in mountainous areas with altitudes over 1,300 meters are considered one of the most beautiful areas of Tirana and have a unique perspective to the development of agriculture and mountain tourism. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of rtvora, thank you and have a great weekend.